Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to report to you about some stories related to the situation in Ukraine. So the first one is from the G20 summit that took place in Indonesia, in Bali. And there were some stories there that some of them are very ridiculous, like the US officials refusing to engage in diplomacy with Russia, so there hasn't been any talks since before the start of the Russian military operation in Ukraine, and they refuse any approach, any diplomacy at all, and that has been mirrored by the Ukrainian authorities, the Ukrainian state. But overall, what we can see is that the largest developing nations and the world's leading economies didn't agree on how to respond to the war in Ukraine. So, as you know, not all the countries in the world agreed to the US sanctions and the initiative to impose sanctions on Russia. And also many nations didn't agree with the war altogether. They just want the nations to work together to end the war, which I think it is correct. Peace is the solution, as I always have said in this channel. They just say it's necessary to work together to end the war. So that is very sensible advice. And the only thing that happened it was that Secretary of State of United States and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov were in the same room, but Blinken refused to talk to him. So Lavrov says that if they don't want to talk, then don't talk. Nobody's forcing them, and they continue to, of course, criticize the Russian military operation in Ukraine, and that's basically all. Of course, at the same time, it was the news of the assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and so that was kind of also something relevant that happened at the same time. But overall, what we see is the fact that there is not enough consensus. They want to make people believe that there's really broad consensus on criticizing Russia, and there isn't. There is not this worldwide consensus. And again, the US is announcing another multi-million weapons package for Ukraine. Apparently, they are going to include more HIMARS, high mobility artillery rocket system, two of them which have already claimed to be destroyed, more 150 millimeter artillery. Yeah, it is incorrect here. It's not 150. That's what I was going to say. It's 155 millimeters, which is the kind of ammunition that uses the HIMARS, and apparently also the same kind of ammunition that uses the M777. I don't know how many of those are left. There's claims that several of them were destroyed already by Russia. And what surprised me was that this is the 15th weapons package the US has pledged to send to Ukraine. So that's a lot. Again, this is part of the 40,000 million Ukraine aid bill. They're just kind of chopping it up in different packages, but it is not additional aid, and it's just the same. And they just say here what kind of things they're going to send: counter battery systems, spare parts, some tactical vehicles. Just look at the numbers, 3 tactical vehicles. That's so small. They don't even bother mentioning how many artillery ammunition are sending anymore. Demolition munitions, all kinds of things, So it continues. They don't relent. They don't stop to think that it's better to negotiate, to bring peace. Peace will come at the end, but probably at a higher cost for everyone involved, and that is very sad. As you know, I'm in favor of peace. I don't agree with war. So this is very sad, but I just see the trend that the Ukrainian state is getting destroyed more and more every day. It's better to negotiate and sit and talk about peace now rather than later, after several more thousand Ukrainian soldiers, civilians have died. Is my opinion. And then there is a new article, news story that says that Russian forces destroy 2 Harpoon missile launchers. As you know, the United Kingdom installed these systems, which were custom made as far as I know, and they were stationed near Odessa, if I think. Yes, they were in the Odessa region. They were delivered by the UK to the Ukrainian military. So that's the newest. They have been destroyed, and they talk some technical details about them. Not really too much else to say. There is no official confirmation from this, but these news are reported in some other news sites, so you can look them up if you're not able to see it as. And this one is also recent news and also new for me. I didn't think about it. It says that chickpea is also being affected by the conflict, and they say there are different factors for this. It's not only the situation in Ukraine. They say chickpea shortages are caused by climate change and the situation in Ukraine, and it's threatening hummus supplies, which are very popular in the Middle East. And they say that apparently the global chickpea production could dip by as much as 20% this year. So that is significant, because it's not only chickpea, it's other cereals. So food insecurity is a real thing. It's not only affected by the situation in Ukraine, it's apparently also there were some specific weather conditions. That means that farmers in the United States, for example, planted fewer crops of chickpeas, and they decided to prioritize more lucrative crops like corn. And also they say both Russia and Ukraine are producers of chickpeas, and that has already been causing disruptions of different food staples. And of course, because of this, now prices are higher. They say at least 20% more expensive than they were last year, and 17% higher than before the pandemic. So this is really terrible news, actually. Something to think about and consider. Okay, this is a story from Mexico about the the Mexican president. The Mexican president said ahead of a meeting that he's going to have, this meeting is already scheduled. So Andrés Manuel López Obrador is going to have a meeting with Biden, and he said already that he is going to continue to have the neutral stand and the Ukraine-Russian conflict, and basically is the non-interventionist policy that Mexico has long been subscribed to. He said that he hoped there will be a ceasefire. I agree with him. That's the best thing for everyone involved. Ceasefire, negotiations, but we will wait and see what happens. And the latest story, which is very interesting, is again a little bit farcical, hypocritical, like a lot of things that the Western economies do. All these countries that are sanctioning Russia, they came out with a solution for the problem with the gas turbine, which is similar apparently to this one that we see here in the photo. So if you remember, Gazprom, Russia's Gazprom, cut capacity for Nordstream 1, and they decreased the pressure or the volume to just 40%. So from 100 they decreased it to 40%, because they say that they needed this turbine and it was not safe to operate the pipeline without the turbine. And the turbine was being serviced by Siemens, by this company, Siemens Energy. It is in Canada, and Canada said we're not going to return it because it's part of the sanctions, and well, it was critical for Germany, so apparently I'm guessing Germany and Canada agreed to some kind of compromise. So this is the solution. They are like creating basically a loophole. They say the turbine will be sent to Germany first, which will then deliver it to Gazprom so Canada does not breach any sanctions. So it's just a trick. That's what it is. It's a trick. They say, okay, we send it to Germany, so Canada sending it to Germany doesn't imply any sanctions breach. Then Germany can do whatever they want. I just thought it was a little bit ridiculous, hypocritical. They try to work around their own stupid rules that they created to come up with a solution. So a little bit of good news for Germany, not completely. They are still facing a very grave crisis, energy crisis. It's very sad. All the German economy, all the German industry is going to be affected with this, and there is no need for this. There is no need. It's just the politicians doing all this. Is just very, very, very stupid in my opinion. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say for now. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section of the video. And as always, I ask you to please like this video, share it in social media, and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.